Welcome to the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel, the #1 YouTube channel for you to level up your communication skills, learn the art of public speaking, social skills, and personal branding to take your message to the world. For today's episode, we are entering the world of public speaking, and I'm going to give you some tips on how to design a best man speech using the 5-block formula. Now, I typically get questions like, "Yo, Armani, is learning how to public speak really that important in the digital age? I mean, there's so many different vehicles I can use to get my message out there. What's the point of learning how to public speak?" And when I get a question like that, I'll give it another question back. I'll ask these individuals, do you currently have a sibling or a best friend who is single and looking to get married down the line? And more often than not, they'll say, yeah, they do. And then I'll ask them another question. I'll ask them, well, who do you think is going to deliver their best man speech? Their dog? It's going to be you. So you want to be prepared and you want to be ready for when your time on stage comes. And when this time comes, you don't want to be rattled. You want to be battle tested and prepared. And this video is going to help you do that. I've been to Eastern weddings and I've been to Western weddings. And both types of weddings are a little different. In Western weddings, I've noticed that they place a very big importance on the best man speech. When the best man goes up, you shut the fuck up, you turn off your phone, and you are all ears. In the Eastern weddings, they place more importance on music, dancing, the festivities, and the best man speech is typically a bonus. The way that I designed the 5 blocks for my framework is that it's designed to appeal to Eastern or Western weddings. It doesn't matter what kind of stuff the wedding is about. These principles are completely universal. That's one positive part of the 5-block formula. The second positive part is that you can use these blocks for however long you want to speak. If you could scroll through my YouTube channel, you'll see one best man speech that's roughly around 1 to 2 minutes long. It's not that long. For that particular wedding, there was an Eastern wedding where there were multiple best men. So we all had less times, but I still used the 5-block formula. Then you'll see another best man speech where I speak for roughly around 7 to 10 minutes. This one was longer, but once again, I used the same framework. So if you learn the framework, ultimately, you decide how you want to be the artist for your speech. This will just simply keep you on track. So if you're ready, you excited, make sure you drop a like for me right down below, and let us begin. Before I introduce the 5 blocks, I want to make sure your mindset is right. Because here's what's going to happen. Soon as you are told that you are going to be the best man, at first you are going to feel nothing but joy. You're going to think, from all the billions and billions of people in this world, I was the one that was chosen. I am the best man. Now, after some time, all that joy is going to start to melt away, and now the nerves are going to start kicking in. At this point, you're going to be like, from all the billions of people in this world, I'm the one that had to get chosen. That's what you're going to be thinking. And these are normal feelings to have because public speaking is tough as it is. Now, public speaking in front of a lot of people that you know is tougher. And public speaking in front of hundreds and hundreds of people is very, very tough. I get it. So you got to make sure your mindset is right. The reason that you're feeling a lot of anxiety right now is because you are having an illusion. You're thinking that you are the star of the show, while in reality, that's not the case. You are not the star of the show. The bride and the groom are. You are simply an extra. Your job as the extra is to make sure that the bride and the groom have a fun time. In the wedding, there are a lot of different moving variables to make sure that this happens, and you are simply one of the variables. When you start to understand that you are just a pixel in the picture rather than the entire picture, that's when you start having more fun. You don't put so much pressure on yourself trying to impress everyone on speech day, but rather you try to make sure that the bride and the groom are enjoying themselves. This small mentality flip is huge and will allow you to feel much, much better for being given the title of the best man. That's the mentality tip. Now, before I talk about the 5 blocks, the next thing that I want you to realize is that emotions are huge. And in the public speaking world, if you can make the audience feel 1 to 2 emotions, then you did a good job. If you don't make them feel any kind of emotions, especially on a best man speech, then unfortunately, homie, you did a bad job. Right after you're done speaking, other people are not going to remember you at all. They're just going to go about their days, and it's going to be as though you never existed. The emotions allow you to build that connection with the audience. So Armani, now what are the 1 to 2 emotions that you recommend? Well, the first emotion, this one is universal, and you need to be leveraging this, is humor. And the main way to be humorous is to just have a fun vibe. A little mentality hack that I want to give you, this is exclusive info by the way, is when you're designing your speech, keep on smiling, keep on laughing, keep on associating positive emotions to that speech. If you're having fun as you're creating the speech, the day that speech day arrives, you're going to be exuding fun. And when you're exuding fun, the audience is going to be like, yo, this cat is really, really fun. Let's be fun with them. That's what they're going to be thinking. So as you're creating the speech, keep on smiling, keep on being alive. Don't be so like a negative Nancy. Don't be like that. So the first emotion is humor, lightheartedness. The second one is the opposite. You want to make them feel and touch their heart. You really want their heart to be heavy. And this is a more complex emotion, and I'm going to be teaching you how to do that for the 3rd and the 5th block. So keep on watching and I'll guide you through this. So that's the quick little summary before we get started. Mentality, don't make it about yourself. Make it about the bride and the groom, and your speech should be designed to make the audience feel 1 to 2 emotions. You got that? If you do, let us get started with the blocks. So the 5 blocks. The first block is the opener. The second block is a history of the story. The third block is the story of the conflict. The fourth block is the bride. And the fifth block is the closer. Now that may be a lot, so let's break it down piece by piece. The first block, the opener. There's going to be a lot of people at the wedding, physically. But are they there mentally? More often than not, no. So it's your job as a public speaker to make them mentally available. Otherwise, what's the point of designing this fire speech if they're not even going to pay attention? So you have to get their attention. The first block, you're going to be having fun. It's a very light-hearted block. Smile. Well, Armani, how am I going to get their attention? There's plenty of ways to get someone's attention, but the best way that I can give you is to be unpredictable. Be unpredictable. Tell a joke. And if you don't know how to tell a joke, here's a very practical way to open. You've known your best man for a long time. I'm sure you guys have a lot of inside jokes. For the first block, introducing an inside joke and capturing their attention and filling them in on that inside joke is a brilliant move. For example, did you guys know that Mikey, back in the days, his nickname was Jungle Fever? Automatically, people are going to be like, Jungle Fever? Wait, what? Now they're going to sit up and they're going to be very curious. Once you have someone's curiosity, you have them hooked. You know why? Because humans genuinely want to close the gaps. So when you make them curious about something, you have their attention. They want to know why you guys call them Jungle Fever. So use the block to share a funny story about why you call them Jungle Fever. Automatically, you have their attention. It's a very lighthearted block. Spend a few minutes on that. That's the first one. The second block is a story of the history. Okay, you've known the best man for a while. You know how you guys met. You guys know your story. But the audience has no clue. The audience has no clue. So for the second block, once again, keep it very lighthearted, have a lot of fun, and share a story of how you guys met, your guys' initial journey together. Did you guys meet in the bus, in high school, in college? Talk about that. And in this block, it is 100% fine to roast the groom. Roast the groom because you guys are friends. So it's all in a friendly sort of way. And the more you roast the groom, the more the audience chuckles, the more the groom chuckles, the more the bride chuckles. And it just starts off this train of positivity. So use the second block to share your guys' history. The third block, this is when we start to flip the script a little. This is when we don't want to be having too much fun, but we want to be more serious. We want to make them feel at their hearts. How do you do that? You introduce a conflict. You and your best man, I'm sure it wasn't always rainbows and butterflies. I'm sure there were many times where you guys had conflicts. Well, talk about it. Was there ever a moment when you and the best man moved to different states and you guys lost touch? Was there ever a moment when the best man lost someone that they really loved and it was you who had to step up? Was there ever a time where you guys got in a very heated argument? Talk about something like that. Introduce it in story format and really catch the audience off guard. Because for the first two blocks, they were laughing, they were jiving, and now you're being serious. It's called a pattern interrupt in the public speaking world, and it's another great way to build exponential engagement. Use this block to be serious and share your authentic story. Be real and be vulnerable. That's the third block. Before I go on to the fourth block, let me wrap up the third block. Even though you introduce it in a very serious way, you don't want to end this block on a very serious note. You want to end this block on a positive note. So hypothetically, say you guys moved to different states. That's the conflict. That's the tough part of that block. Talk about that story, share that story, then talk about the resolution. What happened? How did you guys get back in touch for you to be delivering the speech today? And once you end it on a positive note, it allows you to transition into block 4 much easier, which is to introduce the bride. This block is back to being fun. You'll be surprised how many people forget this block. They just go on stage, talk to the groom the entire time, then they get off stage and give themselves a pat on the back. Bad, very bad. And it's a good way to never be invited for a future dinner party by the bride again. You want to introduce the bride. You want to talk about how you guys met the bride for the first time, the positive attributes of the bride, and how the bride complements the groom. You want to be talking about that because now it engages the entire audience. The bride's family loves you. The bride loves you. The audience loves you. Make sure you do not skimp on the fourth block and you keep this one very lighthearted. Once again, it's fine to roast the groom every now and then. And finally, the fifth block. This is back to being a little bit more serious again. This is you talking about the entire journey from very beginning all the way till now. You've known the best man for a while, but at this point, the best man is about to start a new chapter to their life. Wish them all the best. Wish the bride and the groom all the best for their new journey, and let them know that the best is yet to come. When you do this, you touch the audience's hearts once again, and you leave them off on a very sentimental, positive note. And those are the 5 blocks. 5 blocks to rule them all. Let's break them down once again. The first block, you're opening, you're getting their attention, and you're keeping this one a very light-hearted vibe. The second block, once again, you're keeping on with that light-hearted vibe. You're introducing the story of how you and the best man met, and you just talk about that. The third block, you introduce a conflict. You catch the audience off guard. You introduce a very serious story, and you go on with that story, really making the audience feel, making them touch their hearts. But don't end the third block on a dark note. Make sure you introduce the resolution, end it on a positive note, so it's much easier to transition to the fourth block where you bring up the bride. Talk about the good attributes of the bride, how you guys met, how they met the groom, etc. And finally, wrap it up with the fifth block, which is wishing them the best in their final journey. When you follow these 5 blocks, you'll realize that this is just meant to keep you on track. But ultimately, it is your creativity that will breathe life into this framework. You know the best man. You know yourself. It's time for you to maneuver around these blocks to make sure you're filling in the gaps in the most perfect and genuine way possible. I wish you the best of luck because a best man speech is one of the most important speeches that you'll give. And once you do it right, it's one of the most fun speeches you'll ever give. Keep on having fun because moments like this are very rare, so enjoy it as much as you can. If this video helped you, make sure you drop a like for me and you share this video on your favorite social media platform. My friend, thank you for joining the Armani Talks YouTube channel, and I'll catch you on the next episode.